You're welcome to ekidel.com, where future leaders come to improve their knowledge.
Hello, welcome to Ekidel. My name is Justice Unoka. I am your instructor. Today, we will be learning how to model, design, and analyze a 21-story concrete building using Protastructure as our design software. So, when you have launched your Protastructure, this dialog box will appear. So, we will click on New Project to start our structural design of the 21 hotel story building. So, we will say 21, we'll type the project code, which simply means the project name. So I will type 21 story building. Always use comma or always use that symbol to separate words when you're typing in Protastructure. So building, and then we'll click OK. Then the dialog box will appear showing you where you select your design code, just as it is in a manual design where you choose your specified design code. Okay, this building, let's assume that this building we are designing for a UK or a European nation. So let's choose that we are designing for Germany or we are designing for UK. So we are going to use Eurocode to perform this 21-story building design in Protastructure. So I'll quickly select on my code and then I'll click on import. Immediately I click on import. Immediately that import button imports all the design parameters and formulas needed to analyze this 21-story building. And then now this is our dialog box. Immediately the Protastructure appears, where this is called our structure trees. This is where you see all the structural elements that you have on the structure, that's on this display or working environment. So this is this area is called the structure tree. Tree in the sense that you will see all the elements, the columns, the slab, the beams, all the elements, foundations, you see them here. Then this are called the menu buttons. So first now, for you to start, there are two ways to create model in Protastructure. Either you import from AutoCAD or you model it directly on this Prota environment. So we are going to model directly on this Prota environment, the 21-story building. So I'll quickly click on the orthogonal axis generator. If this is the icon, you can also see this on this tab, building setup, orthogonal axis generator. So I'll click on this place. We are trying to create the axis or the grid lines that we will use to insert our columns and our beams. So I'll click on the 0 origin, and then this is the distance of the axis between each axis on the x direction and the distance on the y direction. So I would say 5 meters, 5,000 millimeters from each axis. How many axes do I need on this area? I would say I need 9 axes. So I need 9 axes on this x direction, and then I need 6 axes on this other direction, and these are the extensions of the axis. I'll quickly say OK. Now this is what we have now. This is the extension of that 2 meter. And this is the axis that we have, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the axis, and this is the other axis on the other direction. And then I want to stretch to get the shape of this 21 story. So I'll quickly click and stretch and apply stretch. I'll stretch this point to a certain point, which I want. After, we will have to stretch it back. Then I want to have the same. We want to have our building to be like a U-shape curved building, a U-shaped curved building. So I will have to start modeling right now. So the first thing you do after you have inserted your grids, your horizontal and vertical grids, the next thing you do right now is to insert your columns. So you go either click on the column icon, or you go to building setup also, or you go to concrete member, then you click on column, concrete column. We want our column size. Since this is a 21-story building, our column size, now the default column size, we'll use 450 or 400 millimeter by 1500 millimeter. Now I'll leave the eccentricity as 0, then I'll click my column. Let me start from this area. I'll click my column. I want my column to face on this direction on this axis, so I'll click. Now if I have all columns on this area, instead of clicking one by one, I'll quickly click and hold down and leave it on this area. You can see my columns there. Then also I'll have columns on this area, but now I want my columns to face this direction, not this direction. Okay, this direction is okay, and then we'll go. So I'll quickly click. Okay, so then I want my column to face this direction. I'll quickly say okay again and click. Then now I want to have my columns on this point, so I'll quickly click here, hold down my mouse button and release it here. I'll click here, hold down and release it here. Click then, hold down and release it here. click, then hold down and release it here, click, then hold down and release it here, click, then hold down and release it here. So we have inserted our columns. The next thing now we'll insert is our beams. So I'll quickly click on escape or escape button, and I'll click on my beams, which I have here. Or you go to this place, you see your concrete beams, you click, and I want my beam to be set at 250mm width by the depth to be 750mm. Then I'll click my beams, start drawing my beams by clicking on the first point and holding it down to the last point, and release it in there. Now we have our beam inserted. Then we will go again to the last point. We'll go again to the last point, and we'll go to the last point. Then we'll begin to insert these internal beams, which I'll click and release it here. Escape, click and release it here. Escape, click and release it here. Escape, click and release. 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 Then I'll enter my vertical internal beams. I'll click at this point and release it at this point. I'll click to insert my beam at this point and release it at this point. Then click and release at this point. Click and release at this point. Escape, click and release at this point. Okay, now we have done inserting our beams. You can see it. Inserting our beams. Next thing we have to insert is our slab. Either you see the slab tab here, or you go to concrete member and you click on slab. We will use a solid slab for this design. And then the next thing we'll do is to insert our slab depth. So I'll use slab depth of 150mm and a concrete cover of 20. The next thing I'll go is to go to my load tab, and then I'll input my dead load as 1.5, and my imposed load, like I said, this is a hotel building, a 21-story hotel building. So on my imposed load here, I'll right click and choose hotel, guests, okay, hotel, balconies, hotel and motels. So I'll click on balcony, hotels and motels, or okay, bedroom here, not this, bedrooms in hotels and motels. So I'll click on this and begin to insert. I'll click on this, each of these panels. I'll click to insert my slabs. I'll click to insert my slab. I'll click to insert my slabs. Okay, to insert my slab. Okay, I'll go over to here. Okay. Okay, now at this point now, we have our lift at this point. We have a shear wall, a lift wall at this area. So we'll quickly introduce our lift before we begin our slab again. At this area, let us insert a lift at this area, a shear wall. So I'll quickly, to insert a lift, we have to remove these beams. On this area, we have the shear wall. We'll remove the beams on this area, the shear wall. And then we will quickly offset the lift door. Since we know that from here to here is 5 meters, so we'll quickly click, offset, let the lift door be 1.5 meters. So we'll offset, okay, let the lift door be 1.2 meters. So we'll offset one, okay, to offset, you will click on F2, shift F2, and then type the offset distance 1,800, sorry, and then you click, you'll press enter. Okay, the same thing happens to this area. Let's offset this area too. Offset. Now this place now, if you take shift F2 key, you have to input minus sign because it's going the other direction, 1,800, and I will click enter. So with this now, this will be our door, our entrance to the lift. So then we go by inserting our concrete wall. Concrete wall to be the width to be 300, and it should be inserted at the middle eccentricity. So we click and insert. We click and insert, and then we click and insert, leaving our door space. We click and insert. The same happens here. The same happens here. So I'll remove this and remove this beam to insert our wall at that area. So I'll insert wall on that area. Sorry, wall on this area. And then immediately I'll mirror this one over to this area. So I'll hold my control and select the ones I want to mirror. Mirror. And then I'll click on, right click and say mirror. I'll click on this axis to mirror. Okay. Okay, the mirror didn't work. Let me just go over here. So I'll click on this place and insert my wall manually. Maybe later I'll use the mirror for other options. Then I'll quickly offset this again. Offset this grid line again by 1.8. Offset by 1.8, which will go by holding our shift F2 1800 and enter. Again, click this, offset. You hold again, shift negative 1.8, go. Then you come back here and insert your lift wall. And you go again and insert your lift wall here. Then we'll use a beam to connect this beam to form the lintel for the door. The lintel for the door. And then, so at this point now, we have gotten our lift wall. This is the lift. Then we'll have to now input slab on this area, and on this area, on this area, and on this area, leaving this for our staircase wall. Leave this space for our staircase. Now, the next thing right now, we are done with this area right now. So we want to have, we have to duplicate this to on this area. So I'll quickly offset this right now. Offset this to the midpoint of this line, and then I'll select everything that we have here, highlight everything we have here to mirror. Now we want to mirror, so I'll highlight everything that we have here, right click and click on mirror. Mirror. Then I'll click on this center division axis, and I'll click say copy beam wall loads. We don't have a wall load here yet, so I'll quickly say okay. We wait for it to mirror everything that we have here to this place. It's trying to mirror it. I can see there. It's trying to read all the beams. Okay. All the columns have been mirrored. Now remaining the beams to mirror, and the walls are coming. The beams are coming. Okay, we now have the walls already mirrored. Now the beams are coming. Let's wait for the beams to be mirrored. Okay, now we have the beam is still coming. Okay, so this will be a 21-story building. We are going to start from beginning as we have started to the ending part of it by analyzing, designing, analyzing. So let's wait for it to mirror. It will take a lot of time because it has a lot of properties here, slab and beams. So let's just wait for it to mirror. Okay, so we now have our beams already mirrored down to this place. So what we have here is the same thing that we now have on this side. So then we will want to model the look of this structure on this area, knowing that we have already the center line on this area and what is our distance from here to here, so that we can know how we can space our grid line on this area. So let's just measure, right click and go to measure, click on the center line of this and go to the center line of this. So our distance is 28.862 millimeters. So to do that right now, we will have to offset. Let's offset 5 meters. Hold your shift F2 and say 5 meters and press enter. Press enter again. Press enter again. Press enter again. Press enter again. Okay, so then we go to this right now. Again, offset to have this here. We hold shift F2 negative 5 millimeter. Enter. We enter again. We enter again. We enter again. We enter again. We enter. And we enter again the last time. Okay, so we now have, okay, that one didn't pick up, so let's offset again. F2 negative 5 millimeters. So we go. Okay, so now we now have our grid lines now. So let us start modeling on this area. So we want our model to have this kind of shape on this area. So we will give out 1, 2 line space and 1, 2 space. So let us go to column. Now I want to start our model at this very point. At this very point. At this very point. So we put here and we put here. Okay, so we now insert our columns on this area. Columns again on this area, leaving out 1 grid line. Okay. Columns again on this area. leaving out one grid line. Okay, column C again on this area, leaving out one grid line. Okay, then I'll insert my columns again on this axis by clicking at this point, holding my mouse button, coming to this point and releasing it. Automatically it will insert all the columns at that grid intersection. The same thing happens here. Hold, click and leave it here. Okay, go again, click here, hold it, leave the mouse button here. Okay, again, hold again, leave it, leave the mouse button at this point. Okay, so next now go to is to insert our beams. So click on beams, the same setting. So click on beam here and click. Okay, then we join this beam together. Okay, and we join this beam together. Okay, and we join. I'll have to input a column here at this point because this span is too long. This is already 5 and this is almost 3 meters. That's almost 8 to 9 meters. So I'll just, after I'll come to this point. So let's continue here first. There will be a column at this axis, at this line intersection. Then put my beam, click and leave it. Put my beam on this area, click here and click here. Put my beam again, click here. Again, click here and click here. Again, click here and then I'll click here. So when you're modeling with Protastructure, the main thing is the modeling. Once you model perfectly, the design and analysis is very simple. But if you have issue with your model, then be rest assured that you have issue with your structural design and analysis. So make sure you space your columns very not too long. At least let your column space should not be more than 7 meters for a high-rise building. 7 meters is even too much. At least the minimum spacing for column you can use for a high-rise building should be at least 6 meters. At least 6 meters. I use 4 meters, I use 5 meters. I maintain that, and I've designed a lot of building both in North America, Jamaica, both in Brazil, both in South Africa. The last building I designed just last 2 weeks is for a client in Jamaica, and I am in Nigeria. So it doesn't really mean that you can be in anywhere as far as you know what you're doing. I'm a civil engineer. I have a BEng in civil engineering. I have masters in structural engineering. So okay, we're done with this place right now. So we'll go again by clicking column. Want to insert column on this point. So click to insert. We're going to take up this beam. So click and leave the mouse button there. We'll go again. Click and leave the mouse button here. Okay, so we now have to take off this beam to reinsert the beam at that point. We'll go again, take off this, reinsert the beam at this point. Then we'll have to insert the beam back. We'll zoom out. We'll click. Okay, we'll go, we'll click. Okay, we'll go, we'll click. Okay, we'll go again, we'll click. This building is a typical building to the last floor of the 21 story. So once you are done with our first model on this first floor, it's just to duplicate this floor, typical to the other floors. So that's why you have to do your structural framing here very well. Okay, we go again, click. Make sure you don't miss any beams, or you don't leave any beam unsupported or any column unsupported, because that will give you issues, error warnings while you are performing your analysis and design here in Protastructure, or even in any other software also. So click, and we'll go again, we'll click. Okay, the sound you're hearing is because my mouse is trying to double click on a particular point. I think the mouse button, the mouse right click button is having some issues. Just the tiles not too long, developed, that was yesterday. So we click here. Okay, let's be a little bit fast. So click and then insert the final beam before we go and insert our story Okay, so this is our final beam right now. Next thing we do now is to input our slabs. Okay, so to input our slab, we'll still click on the slab icon which is here, and then we'll start inserting the slab, clicking on each of this panel. So click, we'll 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 click, 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 click. Okay, so then we'll click again, we'll click, just repeat the procedure. Don't mind to wait for the software. The software is already knowing that you are clicking, so everywhere your mouse button clicks, that's where to insert the slab. So make sure you click directly on the panel. Okay, let's hold on for the software to meet us. So you can see that we are already faster than the software. Okay, let's just hold on for the software to insert all the panels that we have clicked for slab to be inserted. Okay, then okay, almost done. Then we'll also have a lift, or yeah, a lift at this point, and also a staircase at this point. So we'll click here, we'll insert, leaving this point as our staircase region. We'll click and click, leave here as our staircase. Then we'll open up this place for our lift. So we'll have a lift at this edge, at this end, we have a lift here. Okay, so then we'll click on the concrete wall and insert our lift, our lift wall or shear wall. We'll drop it down. Okay. Okay. Then we have to input our lift entrance by offsetting the grid line. This one, let's say the distance is 1.2, so say 1200. Enter. And then we'll click on this one. Distance from here, let's take 1500, so minus, because it's going the other direction. Minus 1500. Enter. Then go to our shear wall and click this point. We want this end to flush on this grid line, so make here end at J. This right hand side is called J, left hand side is called I. So let at J to be 0, so it will flush. Okay, so the same happens here, but this time now will be at I. So this 1, 2, 5, but at I it is 0, so we go. Okay, 1, 2, 5. Let's glitch and reinsert this. Okay, let's reinsert this. Click this and insert. Then go to our I and say 0 and then update. Okay, then we'll click on beam. Click and say beam. No, I want to put a beam here, not a wall, so go to beam. Click on beam and then click and go. Okay, so now this is our lift wall and this is our staircase area. This beam is to be removed since it's the staircase area. We remove this and we remove this. So this is our staircase area right now. Okay, now let's save before we view our 3D. You save. Now you see when we view the 3D, you see how perfect, how beautiful this will look. Then after the viewing of the 3D, we'll now start inserting our story up to 21 story. You see how simple it is to model in Protastructure. So we go up and click and right click and say navigate to 3D view, not from plan to 3D view. Now you can see what we have here. You can see how beautiful it is. Beautiful it is. Beautiful it is, right? Okay, now let's begin to insert our story. So go back to plan view. To insert story, we go to building, setout, and go to insert story. To insert story right now, okay, there's all these beams have structural walls. So, but let's assume that the beam does not have a structural wall. But even if you want to put a structural wall on this beam or the beam load, so click on the beam and say edit beam wall load. We edit beam wall load and we input these values. Wall unit weight 3.17, and then we input wall height. We want our height of story to be 30 meters. So the wall height here should be lower than the story beam. So we say 2.85. then the wall thickness is say 0.225 in meters, and say okay. So automatically there is a wall load now on this beam. You can see how it is being hashed. So we click on the beam and right click and say copy beam wall loads. Then we come back, go to our beam to paste all the beams to carry wall load. We click on the first beam, then we'll go down to the last beam, holding our shift key, and we click on the last beam. Automatically you wait for it to select every beams. It's trying to select all the beams. So let's hold on for it to select before we paste our copied beam wall load. Let's hold on. Okay, now the beam has been selecting. So the next thing we do now is to right click and say paste copied beam load. So we say yes, and then we wait for it to paste the copied beam loads to all the beams. We hold on for it to paste all the copied beam wall load to the beams that we have on this model. So we just hold on. The next thing we'll do is to insert story after now. Okay, so our beam has finished pasting. You can see it here. So we click outside, and we now see that all our beams now carries wall load. Let's go back again to view the 3D view to see the wall loads on the beam. Okay, now you can now see that all the beams now have wall load rather than before. So with this now, we can now choose to insert story. So go back to plan view, right click and navigate to plan view. Now, to insert story, we will go quickly to click on building setout, and then we'll click on insert story. We want to insert 21 story. This is a 21 story building, hotel building. So quickly type 21, and then we'll click on OK. We say yes, proceed. Okay, now you can see immediately we now have a 21 story from story 1 to story 21. Then the next thing we do now is to generate story. We generate our story. To generate our story, that's to copy all we have here. We want to copy what we have on the first floor, which is the beam, column, and slab, the walls, down to all other stories. So to do that, now we're going to go to building, set out, and click on generate story. No, not insert story again. We are done with insertion of story. Go to generate story, and then we'll say source story is story 1, and the target story that I want to duplicate is from story 2 then to story 21. So you click on story 2, as you can see here, and then you go down holding your shift key and click story 21, and then you click on OK. When you click on OK, you wait. When it's done copying all the structural elements from story 1 to all other stories, you see at this point process completed. So let's hold on to see that action. Okay, let's hold on. It's trying to copy the stories. Now it's on story 3. It's on the third story. You can see it here. It will soon move to the fourth story. It will soon move here to the fourth story. Currently now it's living on the third story. Let's hold on. Now we're on the fourth story. So that's how to do till we get to the 21st story. So let's just hold on and wait. Okay, process completed for the first story, not for the 21 story. So let's hold on for it to show process completed for the 21 story before we will now continue. Okay, so I think we are almost at the last stage. It's about to copy the last stage right now. We are at the 21 floor, as you can see it here. We are at the 21 floors right now. So let's just hold on for it to copy while we continue what we're doing. Okay, now it is done. You can see completed for all the stories completed. Then we can now say close. So with this now, we now have the same model from story 1 down to the 21 floor. So let's just see how it looks like on the 3D view. Okay, so on the 3D view now, this is what we have on 3D view right now. So this is what we have on the 3D view, a 21 story hotel building. Now looking at this last floor. This last floor is a roof floor, so it does not have a wall load at that level. So we will have to remove the wall load on that level. On the roof, that is the level of 21 floor, we have to remove the wall load. So go back to our plan view, and also we will want to change the shape of this. We want to have different levels for these shapes. This one will be 21 story. This level before the lifts will be 18 story. this level just after the lift here will be 15 story, and this level here will be 10 story. So let's go and make that changes effective. So click on story 1, back to plan view, and then we will go directly right now on the roof floor first, which is this level 21 floors, which is this level, and remove our beam wall load. So we will quickly click here on the structure tree, click here and click on our beam from the first. Let's okay, down to the last beam to remove our beam wall load, because at the roof level, which is the top level, it is not carrying any wall load. The beams are not carrying wall load, so we have to remove the wall loads on that level. Then we'll now have to make our changes of different level heights. Okay, let's wait for the beams to select. Okay, so our beams they are done selecting. So we will right click right now and click on, we will right click and click on delete beam wall load. So we will click on delete beam wall loads, and then we'll say yes, delete beam wall loads. So by doing this now, we have removed beam wall loads on the 21st story, on the 21st floor. So there is no beam wall load again at the 21st floor beams. So let's hold down for it to delete. Okay, I think it's done. So just escape. We escape or click outside. Okay. Okay, so with this now, we don't have any beam wall load again on this place. Now we will have to start editing our story. So we want this story, this region right now, this area to have 21 floors, and this place to have 18 floors, and this place to have 15 floors, and this place to have 10 floors. So let's start editing right now. So to edit that right now, we'll have to delete from this place. We'll delete off everything that happens here, all the columns and the beams. We'll go off till the 18th floor. So delete this. We select this. It's selecting. You can see it right there. It's selecting, and we'll say delete. Oh, let's go again. We go again. It's selecting, and then we say delete. Okay, let's just go this way. Let's do it little by little. We go and say delete. Delete column, beam, wall, and slab. I say yes, delete. On this floor, we'll do this same process till we reach the 18th floor. Then that's where we'll now delete. At 18th floor, we'll delete only this place, this, and leaving this one. Okay, so we just repeat this till, like I said, this will go for 21 story. This will stop at 18 story. This will go for the 18th floor. This will stop at the 18th floor. So from 19th floor to 21 at this place will be removed. This will stop at 15th floor. So from 16th floor to 21 will be removed. And this will stop at 10th floor. So from 11th floor to 21st floor will be removed. So we just do the same process till we get that shape. So let's continue. Okay, the next thing again we'll do right now is to delete this area. I'll click delete. We say yes, delete. Okay, we'll wait for it to delete. Okay, so this is what we have right now on the 21st floor. Make sure you don't delete the axis while you're working. Don't delete the axis, because the axis is in use in the other floors. So don't delete the axis while you're deleting. So the next thing we'll go again, we'll go for the next. Let's just see a 3D view of what we are trying to achieve, or what we have achieved for now, before we continue. Okay, so this is what we have achieved for now. You can see that this is the highest story for now. This one has been removed. So let's still continue. Before this, in a short time, we'll get our shape very perfectly. So let's just continue. So back to plan view, and then we'll move to story 20 to continue our deleting to have this shape. We'll have this shape till story 18 before we'll now have the next shape here, and again till story 15 we'll have the next shape, and then till story 10 before we'll now have the complete floor again. At that point we'll now see our shape very perfect. So we'll now go again to story 20 to begin again to delete. At this point, I'm going to pause this video to perform this deleting because it will take a lot of time. But when you're doing your own example, I'll just follow the same steps while you continue. So again, I'm going to highlight this whole region again. Okay, so now we are done with our story modification. Let's see how it looks like on the 3D view. Okay, so this is what we have on the 3D view right now, where this area here is the 21 story. Let's just allow the model to load. Where this area here is the 21 story, this is the 18 story, this is the 10 story, and this is another story. So this is what we have right now. The next thing we'll do right now is to insert the story height. So I'll quickly go back on the plan view. As you can see right now, this is what we have. This is what we have right now. So I'll quickly go back on the plan view. This is what we have, the shape we have. You can see right here. So I'll quickly go back on the plan view right now. If I go back to plan view, I'll go back to plan view so that we can insert our story height. Where we'll go to building setout. So go to building setout and say edit story. So we use edit story tab to edit our story height. So we put story 1, the first story, which is story 1, as 3,500 millimeter. Second story the same, up to the fifth story will be the same. So the third story the same, 3,500. Okay, then again the next story 3,500, and then okay, we missed story 4, 3,500, and then from this place, from floor 6, from the 6th floor we begin to put 3,200. The 7th floor 3,200. The 8th floor 3,200. The 9th floor 3,200. The 10th floor 3,200. 3,200 for the 12th floor. I missed 10th floor 3,200. Hope you are in line with what you are doing. Okay, then from 13th floor we will 3,150. Okay, then 13th floor 3,150 millimeter. Okay, 14th floor 3,150. The 15th floor height 3,150, and then the rest height from 16th floor to the 21st floor becomes 3 meters. Then we say okay. Automatically the changes we have done will be applied automatically to this structure. Then we'll go now to go and view the 3D view to check the changes. So we'll go right click and say 3D view. You see that the building will like increase in height. Okay, so this is it now. This is the hotel building that we just modeled. Now the next thing now we are going to move on is to go to the choosing of our material for design. So we want to go and choose material now for design. So go back to plan view, and then we'll begin to choose material by clicking on analysis, tab, and clicking on building analysis. It will prompt to save. Okay, so after saving we will now click on edit material. After saving, we are trying to edit the material to choose the set of reinforcements, the concrete grade. So we'll click on edit material from this building analysis dialog box that just pop up right now. So then we'll click on concrete grade. We're going to use grade 25. So click on apply to all members and to all story. We'll click on OK. Then we'll click on steel grade. We're going to use 460 type 2. We'll say apply to all members and we'll say OK. Then we'll begin to choose the size of reinforcement for our columns. So I'll click on rebar diameters for column. I'll unselect all. Then I'll select T20 diameter, T20 diameter, T25, and diameter T16. And I'll say OK. Then next I'll go to wall. For my concrete wall, I'll unselect all first, and then select diameter of bar 16. Sorry to say that. Then T20 diameter 20, and I'll say OK. Then for my concrete beam reinforcements, I want the program to use concrete at the size of 16, steel size of 20 and 25 to perform the analysis. Although you can choose the type of steel size you have in your concrete, but for this kind of building, for a high-rise building, I think this is the recommended reinforcement size that will be needed. Then for slab, I will uncheck all and just check 12 diameter and say okay. We don't have a roof slab, so I'll skip it. Then for links, I will uncheck all and check only diameter 10, and I'll say okay. Then I'll click on okay. The next thing we're going to do right now is to start the analysis and design. But I'll do this for the next video, which is the part 2. So this part 1, we did modeling to model the structure, editing of the stories, and then we arrived at what we have now. We also edit materials by choosing our reinforcement, our concrete grade and our steel grade, and then this is what we have by the end of our training for today. So this is part 1 for the modeling of hotel building, 21-story hotel building, 18-story hotel building, 15-story hotel building, and 10-story hotel building. So I will just try to rotate this right now. So to rotate this, I'll click on. I will not use this rotate because this rotates using my cursor, because it will try to load these materials again here and it won't look nice. So I'll go to visual interrogation. I want to animate the structure, and I'll click on start animation. How fast will it be? Let me go a bit faster, and I'll say faster again, and I'll say okay. So let's just see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. You can see the building is very heavy. It's very heavy. It's very heavy. So if I wish to stop, I'll just click here. I'll click back this place, and I'll say go back here, and I'll say stop, and I'll click OK. So let me just try to rotate this right now to show you all the views that we have. But you see how it's showing, because the building is very heavy. It's very heavy. It's very heavy. So I'll go again. By the time we run the analysis for this structure, you will see how beautiful it is. You will see how beautiful the design will look like. So this is what we have right now. We are done with the modeling of 21-story hotel building, 18-story hotel building, 15-story hotel building, and 10-story hotel building. This is located in Lagos, Nigeria. So we'll go again. You see, it's taking time to rotate. Okay, so let's try to rotate this. I don't want to use this place to rotate, as I would have just used here and rotate. Okay, let me just use it. Okay, so we can see it right here. So from here you can count the number of floors that you have. Looking at this place right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, the same happens to this 18, this 15, and this 10. So looking at this now, you can see how beautiful it is. You can see how beautiful it is. So beautiful. So beautiful. You can see that? So beautiful. You can see that? You can see that? So beautiful. Okay. You can look it from the top. This is the top view. You can see the top view. How beautiful it is. Okay. So with this now, we can now continue for the next phase, which is the design and analysis and design, which will be on the part 2. So watch out while I upload the video for the part 2 for the design of this structure. Thank you.